Welcome back to another episode of Letter Boss. I thought I'd take a chance today to just share a little bit about what I do. So I'm solo here without a guest. So one of the things that I do besides real estate and running the real estate company is I coach people. I coach CEOs, I coach other real estate agents, I coach loan officers. And as we've just kind of rounded into the second quarter of the year, this is when we go through a process of reviewing a lot of where we're at with our business plan and checking what's worked and what hasn't worked and looking at habits and routines. And oftentimes what I find has happened is that at the beginning of the year, we're really excited and we take off with all kinds of plans and New Year's resolutions and ideas that, we're going to run marathons and we're going to, lose 20 pounds and we're going to, kick off with a really great start. And some of them have done amazing and they've hit their targets and stuck with their goals. And then, like many of us, life happens and gets in the way and we stumble and we fall off the track. Well, most often when that happens, we give up because we don't want to, keep trying and keep failing. But however, that is how we get there, right? So one of the things I always suggest is instead of doing a full reset and recommitting like it's first of the year and going gangbusters, it's let's trickle back in small habits at a time so it's a little bit more reasonable. And some folks have had surgeries or had deaths in their family or had, business upsets that have put them back. And it's too hard to say, okay, we're going to do these 15 things to change everything about our daily routine to get back on track. And so we trickle in little habits. So I wanted to share today some of the things that, work in our day to day, whether we're running our own business or you're in sales or maybe you're just trying to get through life and raise your children, or make it to having some good quality time in your life outside of your day-to-day job. So I recently just started what I call a 30-day reset with my personal girlfriends and myself, just to kind of keep the momentum going on good habits as we start heading into the summer. Because I don't know about you, but for me, the summer is the hardest time to stay on those good habits, that and the holidays, right? So I want to start setting a really consistent foundation for those things that I know that I need to make it through my day. And I know many folks in business, same thing. It's especially if you're in real estate, you're super busy in the summertime and out goes all of the good, healthy habits. So doing this reset, we want to have a well-rounded component no matter where you're at in your life, whether it's you have fitness goals or weight loss goals, or maybe it's just more quality time with your family type goals that you're working on. And so building out a checklist for that has to be very personal to you of what you're trying to accomplish. But I always try to make it things that are doable. Maybe it's just you want to not drink as much soda or something, so you're going to increase the amount of water you drink. And so you'd set that as a goal. It's I'm going to drink this much water, every day for 30 days. Or maybe it's you're not being consistent with your exercise. So instead of saying, I'm going to go to the gym, every single day for an hour, is you just add in, an activity, whether it's indoors in the gym or outdoors, an exercise activity for 30 minutes every day. Same thing with maybe you're not taking any quiet time to reflect, and some folks take prayer time, some take meditation time. Are you taking some quiet time for yourself? So that's a common goal, is we set to put a 10-15 minutes for that every morning. Most often what I find a lot of times where we're not accomplishing these things is we've trickled into that habit of sleeping in. So another good goal to set is getting up an hour earlier. Not say, okay, I've been getting up at 7, I'm going to get up at 4, I'm going to get up at 5. It's just say, I'm going to get up 1 hour earlier than I've been, and I'm going to take that hour and I'm going to spend some time on some of those activities, moving your body for 30 minutes, journaling or meditating or prayer time, things that will help get you centered for your day and help you have a really good, consistent jump start to your day. The other thing that I find is really important is before I start that work week is on Sunday is blocking out some time to prep my meals for the week. So meal prepping, it's been extremely helpful for the busy entrepreneur and the busy mom, the busy dad, whatever it is that's, has those fires we have to put out during the day. If we set consistent habits of putting that time aside to plan out our meals for the week, it'll help us stay on track for eating healthier. It also will help us so that we're not spending time preparing food every single day. So you get some of that daytime activity taken out, and you get some of that time back to do other things. Maybe that's where you get that 30 minutes back to do some exercise, or maybe you haven't been staying on any kind of good track of filling your mind with something positive. Maybe you need 30 minutes to watch or listen to a podcast that's motivational and helps you center, or maybe you need to put some reading time in there. A lot of folks, when we get busy, is we cut out all the good things that are feeding our mind and motivating us. And I must have heard at least 15 people this week that tell me that they're just lacking motivation right now, and that they're exhausted, that they're burned out. And here we are, not even halfway through the second quarter of the year, and they're hitting that burnout point. But most often, the reason we're burning out is we haven't taken time to properly fill up our cup and do things that make us feel healthy and give us energy and give us motivation. And for me, I have to have some kind of motivational influence every day, whether it's a podcast, it's a book, maybe it's just a YouTube video of something motivational. And sometimes it can be spiritual, it can be very personal based, or maybe it's something motivational about business, but something coming at me that's encouraging me to keep forward with my goal. I like this time of year too is to kind of renew my vision board. If any of you do vision boarding, that's super helpful for visualizing the goals that you've set. And maybe it's a getting in shape goal, or maybe it's a place where you wanted to be financially by now, or pay off debt, or a vacation that you're planning, is looking at, okay, what have I accomplished so far at it? So it's not just this pictures up on boards that you have detached from, but renew that energy towards that excitement of that goal. And maybe you update it, maybe you put some new visualization there to rejuvenate your excitement about it. But really dig back into the why behind those goals of these activities we're doing, because that's usually what burns us out, is that we forget why it was important to us. We forget why we set the goal to drink more water or get more sleep, or maybe it was a fitness goal that we forget why that was so important. Oh yeah, that's because, I have this vacation planned and I want to feel good on my vacation. Or maybe we forget that we're really lacking in energy, and those things we know they help us feel better and give us more energy. So I encourage everyone to kind of reevaluate where you're at. And maybe you're going strong and you're in a great place, but if you are like most folks out there running their own business, you're constantly hitting that burnout point. And the first thing we let go when we get busy is all those things that are usually healthy for us, unless we've built them in as a habit into our day. So I like to look at everyone individually, because everyone has different things that fill up their cup, and then ask that series of questions is what makes you centered in the morning? Is it journaling? Is it reading something positive? Is it praying? Is it meditating? And so we'll take that and we'll add in 10, 15 minutes of that in the morning. What time are you getting up in the morning? Is it, are you getting up at 5? Are you getting up at 6? Are you getting up at 7? Are you sleeping until 8 o'clock? Could we move that back an hour and still keep you on track for getting a good night's sleep? And most often the answer is yes. And so we'll put that as a goal, is getting up a little bit earlier. And we just kind of move through it as okay, so what is the majority of what you drink? Sometimes I find out that maybe we've overindulged in the cocktails, and so a goal might be is to drink less throughout the week, or have intention behind when you are going to be indulging, because that can make us so tired. It can change our mood, all of those things. And so having more intention around the things we do during the day, which for busy folks, and especially in the sales industry, that's really hard, because we're doing so many social things that we have foods put in front of us we maybe shouldn't be eating. We have, drinks put in front of us that we shouldn't be drinking. But if we don't plan ahead and have intention around it, it's really easy to fall off track with some bad bad habits that we start building. And to get back on track for the good ones is that we have to set intention in our day. So putting down what, your alcohol intake is going to be, or putting down what your intention is behind how much water you're going to drink and what other beverages you're going to put aside. And then the same thing with food. It's like, what food groups are you committed to eliminating maybe from your diet, and what are the ones that you want to make sure that you get a good quantity in of healthy things that are going to make you feel good. So we do that. We figure out where we can fit those in during the day. Oftentimes the morning fits a lot of those really good habits because it's before our day gets crazy and that phone starts ringing. So I encourage you to look at what's your calendar look like right now, what's your day-to-day life, and look, where can we fit in some healthy things? Because maybe at lunchtime, that's when you can fit in your 30 minutes of exercise. Maybe that middle of the day, you take 15 quiet minutes and go in the conference room and shut the door and have your meditation time. Maybe it's a long commute that you turn on that podcast or audiobook and you listen to get that time in. So if we really sit down and think about what our day-to-day life is like and where can we fit in some healthy things, you can get a list of 10 really good healthy habits you can start developing. And it takes, anywhere between 20 days to 30 days to really build that solid habit out. And so my list of 10 things is maybe much different than yours, but what are the things that you want to change in your day-to-day habits? What are some things you want to improve? Write those out and then come up with little incremental things that you can change and adjust that we can fit in throughout your day, and get it on your calendar. Put down that you want to make sure you put reminders to drink your water in your calendar, put reminders to take that quiet time, put reminders to listen to something positive, and schedule in your workout times. If it's not on the calendar, it typically doesn't happen. We'll keep putting it off and procrastinating, right? We'll think, I'll do it in the morning, something will come up. And then we'll say, I'll do it at noon or something. But if you put it in as an appointment in your day, it's more likely that you're going to get it done. I know there's still those fires that have to get put out or little things that pop up, but it's reevaluating how intentional you're being throughout your day is so important. So that's something for me that I know is super helpful in the personal life to maintain some balance and still stay on some good healthy habits. And then the same thing for your work life, for those projects that you're trying to accomplish. It gets overwhelming and they stack up in our email and on our desk, and they stack up in our our to-do list, and we don't prioritize and make time a lot of times because we keep putting them off and procrastinating. And the best thing is to pick at the beginning of the week a couple that you're going to accomplish. The ones, I always say, triage them. What ones are the most important for your business or for your success, and then triage them in there in that order on your calendar. But don't try to put too many. That's why we oftentimes fail at that New Year's resolution, is that we put too many goals on ourselves right at the beginning of the year and we burn out. And sometimes we need to. Sometimes we're really far behind and we're like, we have to make a drastic change. But still, even then, what is the most important change that you need to make right now? And let's put small incremental goals each week in there and put it in your calendar. Put it, have your checklist and your reminders up, but put it in that calendar, whether it's on your phone or your desk calendar, so that it's an appointment for something that you need to get done. So when those fires need to get put out, or a client needs something, that you still can respect some of those things that you have to get done because they're scheduled already in, and you can schedule the other things around that. I know for years and years, I let my business dictate my day, and then I had to start taking control of it. And the best thing I did was really start calendaring all of my activities throughout the day. Most now have become a habit. I don't have to write everything down. I just know between this hour and this hour I'm going to do it. A lot of times people say, well, I can set my clock by this certain day doing this certain thing. I've had some of my appointments have stayed on the same day for years, 7-10 years. I've had the same appointment on the same day every week. And once you start getting to that point where you can really control your time and control how your day goes and be organized and intentional about it, you'll find that it's not as much work and you don't hit that burnout because you know what to expect, and you're not sitting there wondering what's next and waiting for your day to run you. You're actually running your day. Another thing that comes up usually this time of year is we do a lot of getting ready for the New Year's, and we're going to start out all organized, and maybe we organize our house and our car, and usually by this time of year, we've abandoned some of those good habits, or things have gone awry, or we don't have time to continue that organization. So I love to see about this time of year to check in of like, where are you at with those things? And it could be simple things like your desk. Is your desk organized? Is your desktop on your computer organized? Or is there messy things that are cluttering up your mind and your day because we keep putting that off? And oftentimes I hear very successful people even say that, well, I can't do that because I've got to clean this up. But then they procrastinate about cleaning up that thing that is really getting in their way of accomplishing a task. Most often it's email. Their email is not organized. You need to get your email organized. Or it's their desktop. There's so many windows open and file folders in the wrong place. And it really only takes a couple hours. So start scheduling in little organizational things. And maybe it's just one drawer at a time, one room at a time. Maybe it's, your computer one day, your house another day, your car another day, your office another day. But start looking at that. Is that holding you back? Is that chaos continuing to contribute to some chaos in your day of why you're not getting healthy things accomplished for your business and for you personally and for your family? So my tip for everyone right now would be just take a little break to reevaluate. Maybe you did at the beginning of the second quarter, maybe you didn't. Reevaluate where you're at with your goals, whether they're personal or business. What are the little small adjustments that you can make, and start getting those in, write them out, and start getting them in your calendar. And you're going to see just like a huge change. Just for me, like getting organized right now, just having my closet more organized is huge. Like it just changes my whole day. It's like takes all the thought out of, I know where everything is. Having your email organized, it just changes, how quickly you can respond or send something, because everything's at your fingertips and alphabetized, and makes your life so much easier. And I know it's a work in progress for a lot of us, but we should do one little thing at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself with a big giant goal of I'm going to organize my whole entire life in the next week. Is just pick one or two things and just plug along on them. Put them in your calendar. Put them in 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, an hour a day, whatever you have time for, and just keep moving along with that little bit of progress, and you'll see just a huge difference. So I so much think that success is tied to the little habits. And I know my dad always used to say being faithful in the little things. And so if you can make a drastic change in your life by just little tiny incremental tweaks in how we do things, you'll just see a huge difference. And I know for me, everybody always says, how can you get so much stuff done in a day? And I don't know. And I don't always feel perfectly organized, but I do know that it was little habits throughout many years of, trial and error of trying to figure out what I needed to do and what I need to prioritize. And, my goal is to share as many of those things through my coaching, through podcasts, through, newsletters, whatever it is, so that you don't have to trial and error and have those continual failures, that you can learn from little things. And there's so many resources out there like YouTube, and so many entrepreneurs that have shared what works and what doesn't work, and the things, the hacks and checklists and graphs, and there's so many wonderful ones out there. But if we don't make time to consume that knowledge, so one of the most important things for me is to always be learning. And I always find somebody that's more successful than me and that has done it, been there and done it, and I try to calendar time in to really listen and learn from somebody else that's been there and done that already, and that cuts down on so much trial and error. So whether you learned something from this, or maybe you've learned something, or maybe you can learn something from somebody else out there sharing, I encourage you to just take some time to reflect, see where you're at, and you'll see a big difference. So that, I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Talk to you soon.